Good afternoon. No, it's not afternoon. Duh. Just goes to show you what kind of day I've had, y'all. Good evening and welcome to the Paranormal Sisterhood radio show on Webb Radio Network. We appreciate you guys being here tonight. And we've got a great lineup for you tonight. Some very exciting people with us, and these are longtime friends of mine. And before we get into all of that, hey sisters, welcome.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay?
One brother.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to announce our sponsors real quick and get all that out of the way. We've had some new sponsors added. So we want to thank, of course, Webb Radio Network, Stan and Teresa Fikes, who produce all of the shows on Webb Radio Network. Thank y'all for what you do. Rogue Turtle in Enterprise, Alabama at 202 South Main Street. You guys got to get over there and check them out because you will just absolutely love Aaron and Ryan and love the shop. Camp 31, 222 South Joseph Avenue in Bruton, Alabama. And if you hadn't had barbecue from that place, I'm sad for you. Go on up and see Adam and check out all the food and everything. And we're going to be going up there real soon to do an investigation. So stay tuned for that. Our beloved sister Sylvia with her Sylvia's Witchin' Kitchen. Let me tell y'all something. This woman can cook up anything, preserves, canned food, not canned food, but jar, pickled preserves and jams and jellies. And I mean, y'all, you just need to check it out. So that's good. Witchy Wands, which is me. I make crafts and do wands and besoms. If you don't know what besoms are, it's brooms and all kinds of other different things for your pleasure. And we've got Diverse Creation Tumblers, who creates canvas bags, tumblers, stickers, anything that you can think of that they make. And then also, I didn't ask her yet, but I know that it was okay. We have Sister Sandy that has her Gulf Coast Spooky Booze, and they sponsor us, and we go out and we do investigations with that team underneath that banner now. So thank y'all for supporting the page and the radio show and everything that y'all do. And the last thing that I want to say before we get started, I have been barraged, and I love it. So keep it coming. I have been barraged by all kinds of texts, people saying, hi, how are you? Just wanting to connect with the sisterhood and their friend requests and followers and stuff like that. Thank y'all so much for just the love and the support and the kindness that you guys have been showing the sisterhood. So keep it coming, guys. And I promise I'll try to say something back to you on the chats and stuff whenever you text me, so I can just say hi and get to know each one of you guys a little bit. All right, tonight, I have been waiting for it. And I know the girls have been, and the boys have been excited about being with us. We have the Midnight Girls and Boys with us, and it is it's a family, almost a family team, isn't it, Cindy?
It is, yes.
Okay, we've got Cindy, her daughter Sarah, and is McGuire and Merrick with me?
Well, Merrick couldn't make it. He was doing homework.
Okay.
But we have McGuire and Ashley. They're with
and Ashley. And what about Mag? Did she make it?
Well,
Wait a minute. You got me totally confused. Don't do this.
Yes, Mag is short for,
Don't do this.
McGuire. Mag.
Mag is short for McGuire.
Sure.
Gotcha. Okay, I like McGuire better.
Yeah, I do too.
It's such a unique name, and I love to eat at McGuire's too. So,
Yeah.
Right.
well, welcome you guys. The sisterhood is so pleased to have you with us tonight. So we're going to open up the forum, and we want you to feel relaxed and comfortable. Don't be scared, even though we're talking to millions of people so that might be listening to the show. We just want you to be yourself, and we want to get into asking you questions and you guys telling us a little bit about yourselves, about the team, about the family, and we'll just go from there. Okay,
Sure, that'll work.
All righty, Cindy, if you'll raise your hand and wave to everybody that might see this a little bit later, that's Cindy, you guys, and that's her daughter, Sarah. I like Sarah because that's my name too. So, and then we've got McGuire.
Which is my grandson.
There you go. Right, your grandson, and Ashley.
Yep.
Wave
Beautiful
Ashley. There we go. Okay. All righty. We're established now. So, I just want you guys, let's start off with the obvious question first. Okay. What got you into the paranormal investigations? What got you into ghost hunting?
Well, I'm going to let Sarah take the floor because she's a lot better speaker.
Okay.
She's a lot better speaker than I am. So,
okay.
She's going to explain how we actually got our start.
Okay.
Right.
I'm very long-winded, so I'll try to sum it up.
Yep.
I think
we only got an hour, Sarah.
I know Sarah's been like this ever since she was a little girl. We're like, okay, Sarah, get to it.
Right?
But I'm better at telling stories, though.
She is.
No, everybody. I think in the early 2000s, I think there was a resurgence in the interest in the paranormal. That's when all the shows started coming out on all the networks,
Yep.
and it was very cool to see all of a sudden
Such an interest.
It's such an interest in like the scientific approach almost to paranormal investigating and the validity of, now that, we're in the modern age with like cameras and voice recorders and EMF detectors. And we were really smitten by all that stuff,
Right. Toys.
And so, yeah, the toys and just like it was neat. So, we're like, hey, this was back in again, like 2008, very beginning of 2008. We were like, we've got to like get us some of this equipment and go to some of these haunted places and see what happens.
And we started out very small. So
I think everybody does, unless you're Zach or some of the other ones on their big TV shows. You start out very humble.
We're still small.
Sure.
But we love what we do.
Yes.
Right.
But really, like, what made us say, like, okay, we want to be like a team that does this all the time was when March of 2008, we went to the St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Such a good
and we did one of the Dark of the Moon tours. And if you guys haven't done one of those, you really got to, because they're pretty lenient. Like they do a guided tour for an hour, and then they like turn you loose for an hour at night on the property. And if you are lucky to get in with a small group, it's very intimate. And so we got to go up in the lighthouse in the dark.
Oh, wow.
And all we had was a little voice recorder with us. And, we're sitting there and we're talking and we're just,
just Sarah and I at the time.
Yeah, it really was just me and Ma in the lighthouse at that moment. And, so we're just kind of talking about the paranormal, and I'm being philosophical. And I told Mom, like, I don't know if I like the idea of passing away and then being like trapped somewhere, for all of eternity. And my mom, she was being more upbeat about it. She says, well, maybe they like it here. And she says to the lighthouse in the dark, she says, do you like it here? And
we were talking to the little girls.
Well, I'm getting to that part.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys don't, if you guys don't know the story, the main spirits that are said to roam the grounds and the lighthouse are the spirits of the original lighthouse keepers, two little girls that drowned in a terrible accident during the construction of the lighthouse. Well, my mom will swear that she heard something.
I did.
Like right when she asked
my own ears.
I didn't hear anything while we were there, but when we got back to our hotel room, I put on some earphones and I'm listening to our recording, and we get to the point where my mother says, do you like it here? And what I heard back, as clear as day, like made all the hair stand up, like from my toes to my neck. I was like, because I had never had an experience like that at this point. And it was almost, and we still have this EVP. It was like the two little girls in the movie The Shining, you know, the come play with us scene.
It was the creepiest part of the movie to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a chorus of it was like two little girls speaking in unison.
Yes.
And they say, "We like it here."
Just as clear.
And
goodness.
Yeah, I snatched my earphones off. I was like, "Mom, you are not gonna believe this," you know. And I let her listen to it, and I was hooked after that. I said, we've got to get a team together. Like, they're not kidding around. Like, this stuff is real, you know?
Now
it is very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt. We went back to the lighthouse several years later when McGuire was part of the team.
Yep.
And McGuire, do you remember the experience you had there?
Yes,
of something?
Absolutely. I come jogging down. They were kind of on the bottom floors, and you know, you got the elevated steps and everything. And I come jogging down, and I had just really got into it, and they had shown me that that recording, and that instantly caught my attention. And I was kind of I was jogging back down on I ran up top. Being as young as I was probably 16. I'm 23 now, and I come jogging down, and it was very comforting. It was the first apparition like I had seen. And I was jogging, and I slowly just started looking towards the right of me, and I could have swore. I mean, there was a woman just slowly started to form. And I get goosebumps talking about it now. Like, I could see the ruffled shoulders of a dress, and just her hair back, and it was so weird because the sight of it, it just felt so comforting until it finally snapped in me, and I was just like, whoa, this is definitely not right. And I come running down, and I just started crying just because that was my first reaction of just how shocked I was. And and it was definitely it's what really I was like, yes, I want to start doing this. It was interesting. It was really cool. But
the paranormal world is so big, and there's so much to it. It is just absolutely amazing when you get out there and you get to experiencing things. Lord, I've been doing this probably 25, 30 years now. And I couldn't begin to tell you all the things and all the cases that I've done, and that the things that I've seen. Some of it will make you smile and feel good. Some of it will make you cry. Some of it will scare the cotton picking Jesus out of you. The things that we've seen, and it's just, you got to love what you do, because if you don't, you're going to run away from it, because it is scary at times.
It can be, yeah.
And sometimes when we tell people that we're ghost hunters, or we like to contact spirits, they kind of get it confused with demon, we like to contact demons. No, that's not what we do. We're just trying to speak with people on the other side.
Yep.
And ones that are still here that haven't passed over, and trying to see why they're still here, or or if they have anything to tell us from the other side. It's not like we're trying to conjure up some kind of.
I have down through the years had so many people, when they find out that me and the girls that have been with me, Mary's been with me before, Sandy's been with me before, Sylvia's new, but people would come up to us, and after they see our shirts or something like that, oh, you're ghost hunters, why are you conjuring the devil?
Right.
And I'd look at them and say, well, I don't remember conjuring the devil, but I said, do you want me to?
We did that last week. Yeah.
I just have to throw something at them. What, Mary? I'm sorry.
I said we did that last week. We just tell them, no, that was last Saturday night.
Right.
I just kind of wanted to clarify that, because that's the first thing that pops into some people's head, and that's not what we do.
And I also tell them that we haven't danced in the pale moonlight with the devil
Right.
lately. So,
Right.
we're good.
Right.
We're all good.
We're like everyday people. We have everyday jobs like everybody else. This is just
Yep.
something we love to do.
Yep.
And
And you got to be dedicated to it. You got to love what you do, like you said, because if you don't, you might as well not even be doing it,
That's right. And we
Yep.
come from, and I think you do too. I've heard you say we come from a lot from Indian heritage.
Yes.
So, and
Native American heritage. Yes.
Yes, Native American. Yes. So we have a history of that. So, and they also have are very, I guess, how do you say it?
Like in tune to things.
In tune to things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we and definitely think that's passed down too. I mean, I've noticed that there's families, it runs in families.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess, for people that are outside of that don't kind of understand that, I can see how it can seem weird.
Yes.
But when you have a lot of people in your family tree that have abilities,
Yes.
have experienced things, and you're more apt to talk about it and share it, with your loved ones, it becomes less taboo, and it's more accepted,
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we are. I mean, to the point where, of course, McGuire is, my nephew and my mother's grandson, and my children are go hunting with us. I mean, not my baby girl because she's not old enough, but I'm sure when she gets older, she will.
Right.
But the funny part is, I mean, she's 8 years old and she watches paranormal shows with me, and it does not bother her at all. Like she's not.
Cool.
She's not scared about ghosts or,
Yep.
And other kids really would be, you know what I mean? Like, I think other kids would be like, oh, no, they wouldn't want to go to sleep at night,
Yeah.
But it really is what you're comfortable with in your circle, and your family and friends are comfortable with,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We don't run from the ghost. We don't run. That's why we hunt so well together. We don't run.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I will say we've had some, like you said,
Some scary
we've had
experiences.
some scary experiences, and it's not for the faint of heart when you go into a place
No, it's not.
where there is a lot of negative energy, but you still can't run. I agree. I think you have to stand your ground, in those situations. I always kind of look at it like, all right, look, I'm going to back out slowly. You stay right where you are, and I'm out. You're not going to follow me, but I'll leave you alone, kind of thing. And
it's funny in each team how everybody kind of has their own gift, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is in our team.
In ours too. Yep.
Sarah, I mean, I can actually communicate good with spirits. I mean, I can ask them and they'll answer me really.
That's true.
Really easily. Sarah sees a lot of things. She can see things. Ashley, for some reason, whenever she takes pictures, things show up to her. She can take a picture, and I mean, it'd be like anybody else could take the same picture and see nothing. And in her pictures, there's
something there.
Yes, always there.
Yeah. That's Sandy on our team. Everything she takes a picture of, there's always something in it. And that's great, because you need people with all different gifts on the team in order to make it a conducive team and be successful at what you do.
And McGuire senses things like he's kind of like Sarah. He senses things real easily.
Right.
So, but
yeah, if you guys want, I mean, we can tell you. I know that these kids have been with us to a few scary places. We have, I mean, I'm not going to spend our whole time talking about it, but we've been involved with this paranormal event called the World's Largest Ghost Hunt
and we're not doing this to promote it. We're just letting you know that some of the things we've experienced.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay to mention them and promote them. I don't mind at all.
Okay.
But I do know that, McGuire and Ashley have been to quite a few of the locations with us. And I think most recently back in 2022 at the Heritage Village in Selma, Alabama, which is like it's a few square blocks that they have moved. Now I think some of the buildings were there, but then they literally moved a lot of the oldest buildings in Selma to this couple square blocks, and made it a place where people can come visit, like the first doctor's office, like the first lawyer's office.
Oh, wow.
Little slave quarters.
Yeah. One of the manor houses, and behind it. Yeah. And we encountered an entity there. Ashley, you want to talk about the thing that you got in the photograph?
Oh boy.
So this was out in the slaves' housing, I guess you would call it, slave quarters. And I'm kind of standing by myself, taking pictures in a dark corner of the whole thing. So I'm just like clicking, and I just see this thing forming like right in front of me outside the window. So whatever it was, it would not come in, because it was the second time that me and Tiny had both seen it. And I was like, oh no, I'm not being here. I'm not standing over here by myself. I have got to get out of here. And we went outside to see if somebody could peek in the window, but it was so far off the ground that nobody in our team could reach that window at the height that the thing was at.
Wow.
It made my arm hair stand up. Ooh.
It looked like a skeleton, almost like a skeletal face.
Yeah.
Like looking in.
Wow.
And if you wonder who Tiny is, that's Sarah.
That's the kids don't. The kids don't call.
They call her Aunt Tiny because she's 6 foot tall.
I'm 6 foot
There you
tall.
go, Aunt Tiny.
I'm like I'm not shy. I'm like 6 foot tall, 250. I'm like a big girl, so everybody calls me Tiny in the family.
Hey, that's okay. All of us over here are big girls too, so we don't mind that.
But yeah, I mean, it was very strange. It was like the entity was curious about what we were doing, but it was very cautious of us. So even though it had this strange appearance,
right,
almost alien-like. So it was something to think about, because it was very pale white.
Kind of glowed.
And and I saw it in the lawyer's office looking in the window, and I think Ashley caught a glimpse of it too, but when she saw it and captured a picture of it looking in the window in the slave quarters, that became our prize-winning piece of evidence that year. But it was very interesting, because it was following us around and looking in through the windows to see what we were up to. Very strange, but not harmful.
Just being nosy, kind of. Yeah,
curious.
Yeah,
and
curious.
And cautious. Yeah.
And we go to Selma a lot. We actually have a friend there that's a news reporter.
Yep.
And he actually gets us into all these places in Selma, Alabama, because Selma. I don't know if you know, Selma has a lot of history.
Yes, it does.
And he always his name is Todd Prater, and he always gets us into all these neat places. And he did get us last year, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2023, into the Dunn's nursing home. And that was quite an experience too. We actually captured another good apparition when we were there. So,
yeah,
I mean, we get EVPs, but we've also got some good pictures of apparitions.
Yeah, we have too. We've gotten a lot of really good stuff in the past. Sisters, is there questions that you girls would like to ask them?
I have one.
Okay.
Has anything ever like followed you? Like, we don't have that because we say prayer before and after. And so they're not, so yeah, tell me.
So we do say prayers before and after, Miss Sandy. That is, I think anybody that does this understands the importance of trying to put barriers up. And to the point where when we go somewhere really intense, we like smudge ourselves before we leave the property and like get back in our cars, right? But we've still had things follow us.
Sarah has.
I have, and actually, you guys might think this is really cool, and I'm not making it up. I wish I could bring my hubby on. It came from Waverly Hills, Sanatorium in Louisville.
Yeah,
Wow.
What a place to have something follow you home, girl.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't bad. What I think it was on the 5th floor there, is where they had, the children's ward.
Right.
And we actually got a lot of activity up there, not just from the equipment going off, but genuine interactions. We were like rolling a ball down a hallway. And I'm in a long hallway, not one where it like bounced off of something. It went into the darkness, and then it would just turn and roll right back, towards us.
God, that gave me chills.
Yeah. And there was nobody there. It would just come back to
and so we were playing games with these children and trying to be very kind to them, because I couldn't imagine being a little child and dying,
sick.
Right.
Tuberculosis, yeah.
So then I got back home, and McGuire actually might remember this because he was quite a bit younger.
It was a few days later, wasn't it?
But my husband,
right before I joined.
So I had all you kids over, staying the night at my house. We were playing like board games in the living room. But see, it had led up to this.
This was, what year was that? This was
2016.
Yes.
Was the year my husband had started, and he's a skeptic, guys. It's so funny.
Very.
He had started seeing the silhouette of a little boy. Now, at the time, my son was about 8 years old or so, 8 to 10. But he would catch it out of the corner of his eyes, and he thought it was our son Merrick. And then he would like do a double take, and it would be gone, And he tried not to think much about it until I had all the kids come stay over. McGuire, I think, was there, and we were all in the living room, Merrick and myself and some of my nieces and nephews and my husband, and we were playing board games. And my husband got up to get a beer or something from the kitchen, and he has to walk past the hallway to get to the kitchen. And he said he saw a little boy standing like halfway down the hall.
Shadow.
And he looked, and he just still thought like it was somehow Merrick had snuck past him and was going down to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
But he immediately grabs a drink and turns right back around. This only takes a few seconds. And when he looks, the kids had not left the living room. They were all still just sitting around the coffee table, and it scared him so bad because he realized that it wasn't one of the kids.
Right.
That with the kids in the house and everything, he was like, dang it. He said, you have brought something back to this house, and he was losing his mind in front of the kids. I had to pull him into another room and be like, you can't say all this in front of the kids, like you're gonna scare the bejesus out of them. So I had to make a big deal. I had to make a big show of it. Because the kids, knew he was really scared. I had to bust out the white buffalo sage right then.
Oh, wow.
And with the kids in the house, have them help me smudge the house, but it never did anything to.
He finally moved on.
And he did go away. It might have been because of the smudging, but so it was a little boy that had to be between 8 and 10 that was just in the house, and it was right after we had went to Waverly. So I'm convinced. And the strange part is, I never saw him. He showed himself entirely to my husband, like, said, who's the skeptic? So it's very interesting to me. Like, I'm still not sure why
spirits do that.
He was showing himself to Jonathan, and
maybe because he felt like Jonathan, maybe like a father figure.
He might have wanted a.
Could have been. Yeah.
But
like you said, it could have been where he knew that your husband was a skeptic, and he was like, "Hey, dude, proof positive. Here I am."
I exist.
Yeah. Shock value.
For sure. It was not anything. I mean, I wouldn't consider it, anything dangerous, but it was very interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. Imagine if you sat down and thought of all the investigations that you've been on and the things that you've seen and heard, and you couldn't. We couldn't sit here 15 shows from now and have it all,
That's true.
out where everybody could, listen to it and hear it. Because each one of us, each team out there, they experience their own experiences. Some are different, way different than ours. I mean, for a while there, my team, Shadow Chasers, man, we were getting stuff left and right. We were going out for one solid year. We were booked every weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Like to have wore us down, but we went and did it. And we saw and heard so much, and some of the devastation of the families that these spirits have decided to just, rampage on and scare them half to death. I mean, I felt so bad for most of them. And we pray with them and talk to them and tell them, you're not alone. We believe in you. This is real. We know it is. They just want validation and somebody that can talk to them that will believe in them and not say, oh, you're crazy, or be like the churches out there that umpteen thousand dozen of our clients that year went to, and every single church turned them away. Them away. Let me see.
Tim.
We got Tim York's in. Have you guys visited? I can't see it.
I can read it.
Okay, can you?
Yeah.
Please do.
He's asking if we've been to Cahaba, and the answer is absolutely. We love old Cahaba.
And we've had several experiences there.
Yes, we absolutely adore. In fact, we're trying to go in March and visit our friend Todd, and we will be having a picnic at Old Cahaba
and
cool.
and doing some investigating. So
thank you for joining us too, Tim. We appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you. That's cool. That's amazing. Mary, Sylvia, you got anything to ask the team?
I'm from Alabama originally, so I'm familiar with Selma. Been there many times. I was just wondering, I also lived in places like Fort Deposit, and I lived in Greenville and Dothan and other areas in Alabama. Is it mainly Selma, or have you been to some other areas in that state?
Well, we really haven't. I don't know what, I'm trying to remember how we even got associated with Selma. Do you remember, Sarah?
Yes, I do.
How it came about?
Because we wanted to break into the St. James.
That's what it was. The St. James. Now, we've been there to the St. James Hotel, and it's awfully very haunted.
The St. James is a famous old hotel. And at the time that we really wanted to get into it, it was closed down. It was under renovation.
Yes.
And then it got refurbished and they reopened. I think it's still open. I think it might be a Hilton property now. But it's still the same. I mean, it is the St. James,
But we have investigated there also.
And somehow, we got in there when they reopened their doors because I think that the company wanted to bring attention, to the historical aspect, and they were just open to us coming and investigating it. And that is when my mother befriended Todd Prater, the reporter there. And then after we befriended him, it kind of opened the floodgates. He was like so interested himself in the paranormal, and he's like, oh, I've got so many places.
He put us in his newspaper twice.
Yeah. And
awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of how, we just wanted to get into the St. James, which is there in Selma. And then once we befriended Mr. Prater, it just kind of became like our home away from home. But we are actually looking into, investigating more places in Alabama and Georgia this year, especially Georgia, because we haven't had the chance to really go into Georgia, Yeah,
I want to go back to Savannah. Savannah is a very old city. Got a lot of history and a lot of buildings that are haunted. So I'm looking to go back there.
Yeah, I've been there. It's I've been to the what's the famous cemetery there? The
Bonaventure.
Is
Bonaventure.
that the one by Oral Park?
Yeah. Oh, yes. And I've been to that little girl's grave, Gracie, and I actually have a recording from her grave.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A really cool EVP. Actually.
Yes, a cool EVP.
It's sad. It is
very
sad.
Because I was asking, is there anything you need, or I asked on the recording, and you can hear a little girl's voice saying, "Water."
Yeah, she needed water.
Oh.
Did you get to do the waterfront when you there?
What's that?
The waterfront. Did you guys get to do any of the stores that are there on the waterfront?
Did you go down like on the shops at the waterfront?
I didn't investigate down there, but I did. I mean, I've been there, but I would like to go back and investigate there.
Yeah.
Moon River
It's just a heavy
Brewery is
feeling.
amazing.
It's not real spooky. It's just when you go into some of the buildings, it takes your breath away.
Okay.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
'cause that was where the pirates
I've
came
heard of
in.
that.
They were raped and pillaged and maimed.
What'd you say, Mary?
Oh, I
That's
said
something to keep in mind.
Moon River Brewery is amazing in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a museum there, if you like a little bit of the morbid stuff, called the Gray Museum. And it's very good. But there's nowhere, we were told by many different people, there is nowhere in Savannah that you can't stand on the ground and under skeletal remains.
Oh yeah.
The whole place
everywhere.
Hey, Sarah, could you read Tim York's text, please? And then there's Mercedes. Hey, sweet girl, love you.
Oh.
Tim is texting in. I can't see it. Can you read it, Sarah?
I would recommend Shelby County Confederate Cemetery near
Calera,
Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we will definitely check that out. And Miss Mercedes, I've been seeing a lot of her.
Let me tell you, you know that song, This Girl Is on Fire? That's Mercedes. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, she is amazing.
Yes, she
is. And she's an honorary sister now. We just absolutely have adopted her, and we love her to pieces.
Love her name.
Yes, Mercedes.
I remember Miss Mercedes from another show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe was this the woman that was on the Dead Files?
Yes, I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I
sending a bunch of hearts.
Yeah, I got a bunch of.
I remember that episode and everything.
Cool.
Yeah. Amy Allen and
He said yes. Yeah.
the detective. I should remember, like DeSoto. I'm gonna get his name wrong. I'm not gonna slaughter it, but
Mary, you know his name.
Steve DeChavez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. But very cool. Yeah, and I've been seeing her on you guys' channel or on the Webb Paranormal Radio a lot here lately. Because now that I know about you guys, I'm watching all of your shows.
Okay. Hey, Sarah, can you read Carrie D. Keith's?
She says, I'm not part of the team, but I'm part of the family. I remember paranormal things occurring within our family as a preteen. Yeah, this is one of my sisters.
That's my daughter.
My mama.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, McGuire's
Well, it's nice to meet you, sweetheart.
That is McGuire's mother. Yes, my daughter.
Okay, cool. Thank you for being with us, sweetheart. We appreciate it.
Go.
Yeah, she actually, I don't know. We've tried to talk. She stays so busy, but she has a little bit of a gift herself. She's always
absolutely.
She's kind of like a medium.
Yeah.
What did Mercedes say?
He said,
her
damned in the desert.
Damned in the desert. Yep. I think that's
she's on a beautiful ranch style farm out there, and I guess she kind of feels isolated at times. There's Tim again, you guys. Can you say what he said?
Yes. Now here's the thing, Tim. This is so interesting. He says he picked up a battle on a parabolic mic that moved around the cemetery, that Confederate cemetery, in a 270-degree arc over 45 minutes, which is amazing.
Yes.
And
we've got to go there.
yeah, we definitely
hear that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check that place out.
But actually, I was gonna say that kind of ties into Cahaba, because that would be the story that I would tell Tim. Is we had one of the most. Remember that me and you had one of the weirdest
experiences in Old Cahaba.
At Old Cahaba, when we were at an area that was
used to be a battlefield.
No, it used to be the Native American village.
That's right.
That was there before the settlers came in, and you could. So it was like layers of history. You could see where there used to be this like the foundations of these almost like, I think, Mississippian, natives, and then on top of that, the settlers started building things. Right. But we were in the middle part of Old Cahaba.
Yes.
And that's where I think the most history is on top of each other.
And this was broad daylight.
Broad daylight. It's like noon.
Yep.
And we're standing there, and all of a sudden, we start hearing drum beats. Wow. I mean, it's
like Indian drum.
Like drum beats, and then I start hearing like whooping, and then we start hearing old school
chanting,
like muskets going off, like like powder muskets. And I thought for real for a second that there was a reenactment going on.
And we ran
my very logical mind was like, they're doing some kind of reenactment today. Yeah. And I was expecting people to come out of the bushes at any second and like start doing this show or something. It was that realistic around us.
Isn't that cool?
And it only lasted about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it just got dead quiet, and you could just hear the birds chirping in the trees.
And it was only Sarah and I that heard it, because we were standing in this one area, and we kind of grabbed each other and were like, did you hear that?
But no, for real, I thought that it was a reenactment. And then when everything just got quiet and the birds were chirping again, I was like, what just happened? Like, what was all that?
And even when we went back to the office, we asked, then she said, no, there was nobody out here doing no.
It was like
in your group, somebody is a conduit, because we have Sarah, and we throw her out there and use her as bait.
That's what's wrong with me today. Y'all, I'm brain damaged from y'all throwing me out there.
Somebody in each group is helps produce these. They feel comfortable.
Right.
With the real person.
Moments like that are almost like what they call time slips, is almost what it felt like to me. If it was like everybody was invisible, but like a battle was going on around us.
It was residual. Yeah. Residual haunting. Yeah.
It was occurring at that time. Yes.
Yeah. Right. And that's really one of the wildest.
And what's so neat is, like I said, Sarah, my daughter Sarah, and McGuire seem to have the same gift, and I think as McGuire matures, he'll start even feeling
most
more.
Definitely. Normally, when you have people that are gifted and they can feel things, see things, and hear things on the team and your family, it's a gift that's been passed down through the generations. And of course, McGuire will. He will, as he ages, he will grow into his gift and be more and more perceptive of things. I think that's great.
It's really cool because like we'll even have experiences where like, we'll go through a whole session or we'll go through a whole little investigation and I'll just start spilling off, and sometimes I'll keep things to myself until the very end, I'll just spill off some some things I just went through and Tiny will be like, oh my God, I just went through that same thing.
But here's what I do, and you might want to do this too, and probably Sarah already does it because she's empathic as well. When I get things about the cases, I'll divulge some of it to the team, but I'll hold some back because I want validation that what I've come up with is exact. Right. And normally 9 times out of 10, I'm right dead on. I barely ever miss. And when you get that validation that you were looking for, that confirms that everything that you felt, heard, saw was real. Right. So that's the way that I do it for myself. I mean, you might find another way of challenging your gift to make sure that everything's right. But just a little tidbit like that will help you out a lot.
Now that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I don't have the gift that they have. The gift that I have, I guess they kind of think of me like a mother, the spirits, because they're like, I can ask questions and they'll answer me.
Yeah.
And then the gift that Ashley has is they'll show themselves to her, like
that's a gift in itself, because some of us now I can hear, see, and talk to them all the time, but some people, they may not have that gift of being able to talk to them and hear them. So that's a gift in itself. So don't count yourself short there, sister. I think you guys are amazing, and I really enjoyed doing the investigation with you the time that we were together.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are amazing. That's why I wanted to have you on the show.
We think that you too. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's really an honor.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like what y'all are doing, and
thank you. Well, this is not the end. We want to have you guys back because I know there's a lot more. We still got a few minutes here before we have to sign off. So,
I actually have a question for McGuire.
Absolutely.
So when you were talking about the experience you had and how it brought tears to your eyes, see, I totally relate with that.
Amen.
I do that a lot.
When I encounter something that's otherworldly, immediately, and it's not like I'm crying because I'm scared, immediately my eyes water and I'll start just crying.
Yeah, because you're compassionate about it, baby girl.
Yes, my ears, my hearing will also get really light. Like I can almost not even hear myself. Like it's weird, but exactly. That's cool. I share that with someone
and
else.
That's why I wonder,
I'm not the only one.
What are other responses? What other responses do people have in that moment that they encounter the supernatural? I mean, everyone's going to respond differently. And when you said that, I totally feel that, because my eyes will just start pouring water.
Yes. So
wow, that's neat. And McGuire's a real compassionate person anyway. He's real. He's very loving and very, So
I mean, I will say that for me it's mostly goosebumps.
Right.
But I know, I'm not saying like I'm super gifted, but I do know for a fact something that I do have is what they call discernment, where I can go into a space and I can immediately tell if the energy there is positive or negative.
Right.
And I have been in some places where I have been, the only word for it is like terrified to go in a particular space, like a bedroom. Like I know that like something in the bedroom, there's something in the bedroom, you know what I mean? And I can't see it, but it is like someone described, like you would imagine there was a tiger in the room with you,
Right.
And that's kind of the feeling when I've ever encountered like very dark entities is I'm like, I don't want any part of whatever is in that room right over there, and I'll know exactly where it is in the space. Do you know what I mean? And I can't see it with my eyes, but like I feel it for sure, and likewise I can go in a space and someone's having activity and they're frightened, but I immediately can tell that there's nothing like really threatening there, and I'll tell them I don't think that it means there's nothing bad here. There's nothing that means you any harm. But I've been other places.
Oh yeah.
And it's a different story.
Right.
Right. It automatically feels like super heavy when you walk in and you're like,
Yeah. Sometimes I can't even go to a restaurant and sit down because the air in the whole building is so thick with everybody's problems, their thoughts and feelings and everything else. Yeah. Sometimes I have to just get up. I'll just tell my husband, come on, let's go eat someplace else. Let's go find another place to eat. It's a blessing and it's a curse as well, because sometimes you can't rest and there's no running from it whatsoever.
Sure.
It's just one of those things, I guess, that we've got to say, and the girls and I
feels that to an extent, but some feel it a lot more than others.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm on that far end spectrum where I feel it more than others. And I hate that at sometimes because I don't get any rest. I don't get any calmness or anything like that because I'm picking up on stuff everywhere I go. And it's just crazy. But,
But
I was going to say something else and then I forgot. There's one question that I wanted to ask. Okay. We always talk about, we asked paranormal investigators that come on our shows and stuff like that. What was your scariest moment? I don't want to do that because that's old school. That's old hat. I want to know what was the funniest moment in one of your investigations that you had that comes to mind.
It's on the fly, remember?
Uh-oh.
Okay. Funny,
Cindy's got it already.
funny, like for the living aspect, or funny something that a spirit did, or could it be either?
Either or. Either or.
Yeah.
I think that story about the Corinth church went out and Alexander.
Yeah, so we did an investigation at this little church way out in the country in Northwest Florida where we live, called the Corinth Church. And we were there. It was broad daylight, because it was one of our very first times. We did go back at night several times to this place, but it was one of our first times being there. And
a lot of times we like to go in the daytime and check out places, and we'll go back.
Right. That's best to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we still had our recorders going, and we're taking pictures, and had our EMF detectors and stuff. And there was a young man with us named Alexander. And so there was some broken windows, and some wasps had gotten in, and they had built some nests up in the rafters. And so we're in there messing around, and it's not like they were being terribly aggressive, but the wasps started kind of coming down and checking us out.
Yeah.
And it really upset Alexander. He was running around, waving his hands everywhere. There's wasps, And I got it. Yeah, we were like, yeah, because they came in through that broken window. And anyway, when we left and we were reviewing the evidence, we listened to the recorder. And at that moment, when Alexander's freaking out, like, oh my gosh, there's wasps in here. He's running around and waving his hands. You hear like
laughter.
Two people, and it wasn't us because he was the only guy, and it was other male voices, and they were laughing at Alexander. And then one said something, but you could clearly hear the other one say back, "It's just a wasp."
Oh.
And that was very strange.
Because they were actually laughing.
Yeah, they were observing us, and they found it humorous that he was so scared. So that was an interesting moment,
Wow.
From the spirit. Yeah.
Well,
but we've had people jump out and boo us and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We've had the human element too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had that.
Somebody jumped.
That's not funny.
One of our most funniest, and we've got to wrap it up here in just a few minutes. One of our most funniest things, we were doing an EVP session at this place, and one of the team members come over and sat down beside me, and he was sitting there and he was, doing his own thing with his equipment that he had and whatnot. Then all of a sudden, I smelt something. And I forgot that we were on video and we were out live, and I looked at him and I said, "Did you fart? Is that you?" Everybody that was watching us, they started putting LOL, ha ha ha, and I went, "Oh my God, we're live. It just come out." So you have those hilarious moments where you're gonna keep everybody entertained. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, guys, thank y'all.
And again, Miss Sarah, me being a big girl, I have picked up teammates in moments of fear and used them as a human shield.
He has.
I didn't.
You even did it to your own mother.
I didn't mean to do it. It was just like at that moment, I'm like, "Come here,"
Yeah. You go, girl. She-Ra.
Like I'm gonna like Sarah.
I love you guys. Y'all are just a pleasure to talk to. And, I've known y'all for a few years now. And I think we're coming full circle, you guys, but this ain't over by a long shot. We want to have you back on the show so we can continue your experiences and talk about other things that we didn't get to tonight. So do I have your agreement to come back to the show?
Anytime.
Awesome. Awesome. Maybe you could get Merrick on this time and even his mom, because if she is psychic medium, I definitely would love to have her with y'all as well. So we'll set that up. We'll check our calendars and everything, and we'll get back with you and get all that set up.
That sounds good.
All righty. Well, everybody, this is the end of the show, and I'm sad to say it because I've had a wonderful time and such a pleasure to be with the Midnight Girls and Boys. And before we leave, I want to mention that we are going to I think it's going to be called this year, the Horror Comic-Con or something like that. Stan and Teresa Fikes are heading that up, and it's the third year, I believe, of the Comic-Con in Ozark, Alabama on October the 5th and the 6th this year. It's going to be bigger and better than last year, and even bigger and better than the year before that. So y'all write that down on your calendars. Be sure to be listening to all of the shows out there on the network, the radio network, and write that date down and listen to everybody as they are announcing it, because it's going to be great. You don't want to miss it. Okay. Well, thank you, Sisterhood. I love you, girls.
We love you too.
Thank you, girl.
Thank you, Cindy and Sarah and McGuire and Ashley. I love you guys so much, and thank you. We'll be getting back up with you again to have you back on the show, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Well, God bless y'all. Have a good night, and I'll be talking to all y'all, okay?
You too. Good night, y'all.
Thanks, everybody out there in Radio Land. Thank you for